sunshine, hopefully some of that water and some of that cleanup can continue and some of the water will recede. That's the good news today. But we give you a look at the Milwaukee River. This is a zoomed-in view from the Esterbrook Park tower camera that we often see, a wide-angle view of Lake Michigan, downtown Milwaukee. This is instead a close-up of the Milwaukee River, one of the many different water bodies around the area that was just overwhelmed, rising inches of rain at a time over the weekend and leading to flooding for so many throughout southeastern Wisconsin. Now, when it comes to some of the numbers that we've seen reported, and that includes from our Fox 6 weather experts back there in the weather office, some parts of Milwaukee noted 14.5 inches of rain, just a remarkable amount that would be an actual record for the state of Wisconsin, a 24-hour rainfall period record, if that is in fact confirmed. We'll get more information on this from Stephanie Barkello, our weather expert, later on in the Wisconsin Live Desk. But basically what happens, the National Weather Service and other organizations have to survey, legitimize that data and confirm it, and then if that were to happen, that would be the record in the entire state of Wisconsin, not just here in Milwaukee or in southeastern Wisconsin, but the entire state, a record for rain in a 24-hour period, and those records go back to the 1800s. So just an astounding amount of damage and water that we saw come through over the weekend and folks are still dealing with today. I showed you that live look at the Milwaukee River. How about some of the pictures that we're following here on this Monday afternoon for you? Some of the viewer video that we got from over the weekend and some of the images. This one from Wauwatosa, one of the hardest hit areas of Milwaukee County. I mean, look at that, a driveway and a road just completely submerged there with water. One of the other areas, Hart Park, which was closed for a while. You can see the tape up down near the park because of all the water that went into that area. Again, Tosa had these remarkable videos right now. And then we're just getting word as well that I'm going to try to switch things over to our reporter Jason Calvi, who's working on an interview right now out in Waukesha County. Milwaukee, Waukesha, Washington, and Ozaukee were really the four hardest hit areas of the entire state of Wisconsin when it came to the sheer total rain. Once Jason is up for his next interview, we will try to bring that to you live as some different businesses are getting back up and running today on this Monday. In fact, some are actually giving free food away to people who are left with massive damage and cleanup. The other thing that Jason is tracking too are some of the infrastructure issues. We'll tell you about one of those right now, or a couple of them actually. Out in Menominee Falls, he's been going around, and we'll hear more from Jason about this, but surveying some of the different major road issues you can see after all that water washed through. This was one of the collapsed roads. I don't think you can even call it a sinkhole. It's like the road is swept away there. As you can see, some of the crews out there checking things out, but obviously impassable for the foreseeable future. A close-up shot as well at some of the buckling water. Again, this record-setting rain that came through so much of the area just absolutely wreaked havoc on homes, on basements, on the actual physical roadways themselves. Some more of the images that Jason has sent back for us from Menominee Falls. So really depends where you were, but everyone got absolutely drenched over the weekend. The extent of the damage, though, far worse for some, and for this road, impassable for the near future as folks will have to be out and about. Now, one other thing that we are tracking for you here on this Monday as we get back to some of the news of the day, we've heard from Mayor Cavalier Johnson about the flooding. He spoke around 11:30 with members of the Department of Public Works. The other thing that was already on his schedule for today, before the rain and the weather became the story of the day, is this a press conference he's about to start here for Building Up Milwaukee, doing this with the Department of Neighborhood Services Commissioner, other representatives as well. The Building Up Milwaukee and the progress of a new school development for Carmen School, an exciting Carmen Schools of Science and Technology, exciting time for them as we're seeing that new building going up there. That's the mayor on the right side of your screen with the shades on this thankfully sunny Monday after all the storm weather we got, putting on his vest, of course, being at a construction zone. And Building Up Milwaukee, a new recognition program from the Department of Neighborhood Services marking progress of transformative projects in the city of Milwaukee, saying not only do these projects bring development to the city, but they also create family supporting jobs for employing innovative design and construction practices on those sites. So as Carmen Schools of Science and Technology is going up behind us there, this construction project, we'll let the mayor get situated there, get all mic'd up and geared up, and he'll be ready to go once that's there. You can actually see it over my shoulder here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, because yeah, quite a bit coming. We did hear from Mayor Johnson just about an hour or so ago on Fox 6 News at 11, actually, handling, of course, the #1 topic for his city, for this entire region. That would be the flooding and the cleanup. He did that at one of the 2 drop-off centers that are open and free for people this week in the city of Milwaukee, one on the north side, one on the south side, where you can bring any items that may have been destroyed in the flooding, whether that's, furniture, carpet, desk, chairs, things like that, and drop them off at those centers free of charge. And that's the good news for folks. You can also schedule a pickup if you don't have, say, a pickup truck, if you don't have the ability to get to one of those drop-off centers. You can schedule a pickup. The city of Milwaukee will take things off of the curb as well, and we have some info on that. All right, the mayor is stepping back to the podium now, appears to be ready to go. So let's listen in to Mayor Cavalier Johnson discussing the Building Up Milwaukee program at that construction site that will eventually be Carmen Schools of Science and Technology. The hard hats are on, the kids are ready. It looks like the officials are not quite ready for us. Let's go here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
But it's good. It should be good. All right, Rambo. Okay. We good? All right. Good morning. Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
All right. So thank you so much for coming today. I'm Jesamil Arroyo Vega, Commissioner for the Department of Neighborhood Services. Thank you so much to Carmen Schools of Science and Technology, Rambo Stain, it's in the back there, and Catalyst Construction for allowing us to visit today. This, aside of all our regular inspections that we do for code compliance, these site visits are a normal daily function for the Department of Neighborhood Services, especially the Building Construction Inspection Division. Our department is here to help from before the permit application through every construction step leading to the applicant building receiving the certificate of occupancy. From footings all the way to occupancy, DNS is here for everybody and to lead the projects to be in compliance. Our inspections in between ensure buildings to follow the scope of work of the plans and every facet of the building in code compliance. Our commitment to the code compliance is simple. We want a safe and sustainable Milwaukee. In addition to our site visit, we invite members from the local media today for an update for the construction progress of this site. Before Mayor Johnson discusses what is Building Up Milwaukee and the impact of this new school, I want to take the time to thank Catalyst Construction and Carmen High School once again for being open for us. The benefits of Milwaukee will be immeasurable with another additional schools for our students. But as DNS visits your job site, your commitment to maintaining job site safety is much appreciated. For all workers here and the neighboring community, please continue to be great partners in our work together.
Now, well, we don't want to take you away from obviously an important update and a big project. We'll get you some more information on that as the mayor is stepping to the podium now, but we hate to interrupt, of course, the mayor of Milwaukee, but our Jason Calvi is conducting an interview right now with the owner of the Euro House in Waukesha and Vino Cappuccino in Brookfield. This owner giving away free food at both locations to folks. Let's listen in live to Jason's interview.
Hey, Carl, yeah, so we are here at Euro House. Euro, right? How do we pronounce it in Greek?
Euro.
See, if you're Greek, you pronounce it Euro. A lot of people want to pronounce it a different way, but we won't say that.
It tastes the same, though.
It tastes the same. So we're at Euro House here in Waukesha, and what we're seeing is the owner here, Andreas Protopapas, is donating away free food to people that have been impacted by the flood, and also at Vino Cappuccino, which is in Brookfield, his other restaurant. Why are you doing this?
From my heart. I've done this in COVID. When we had the COVID and everybody closed, I did exactly the same thing. That's what we do. We help when there is a need. We love our community. Community love us. We love the community. We like to give back to the community.
How much is this going to cost you as a business owner to give away this food?
Irrelevant. When you do it from your heart, You don't think that stuff.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
So right now, anybody, who are you offering this for? In fact?
Whoever needs a help, whoever don't have power, whoever has flooded, whoever had to work, is losing a job, is cannot go to work, the first responders, whoever has a need, no question asked.
What did you think when you saw all this flooding? I mean, I don't know if you drove through Waukesha, but the Fox River is so high right now.
It's crazy. In order for me to get my home, I had to make like rounds and rounds and rounds. I felt it myself. It's hard. It's very tough.
When people come to get you're offering here at Hero House, you're offering a free, what are you offering them today here at the Hero House and at Vino Cappuccino as well?
Here we do a gyro and we put rice pilaf with tomato sauce on the top for here. And people come and say, we had the flooding, I say, welcome, with a big smile, and say, how many you have in your family? They tell me 2, I put them 2. If they tell me 6, I put 6. If they 4, 4. Whatever it is.
And at Vino Cappuccino down in Brookfield?
Vino Cappuccino, we offer a spaghetti meatball with garlic bread.
Sounds amazing. Sounds really delicious. What do you want people, as they're coming to get this free food during the midst of this tragedy, during the midst of this flooding, what do you hope they take away as they come and see you today?
Start again. I don't understand the question.
What do you hope the people getting the food today, what do you hope they experience as they take the food here, as they receive a gift from you?
Well, I like to see the smile. My pay is the smile. When they come and I see the smile, they get the food, they don't have to cook, they don't have to go around. The smile, I get it, that's my pay.
Carl, we're talking with Andreas Protopappas from Greece, and he is a professional musician as well. I believe you play the oboe?
Oh,
is that right?
No, clarinet.
Clarinet. Sorry, another woodwind. I got you wrong.
Clarinet.
But professional musician.
Yeah, Greek
and are you
music.
still professionally playing in Greece?
Yes. Actually, I'm going in Wednesday, and I'm gonna have to play like 7 gigs in 2 weeks.
7 gigs, wow.
10 in the night till 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, wow. What are you playing? Anything in particular?
Folk music.
Folk music.
Folk,
Greek folk music.
clarinet, yeah.
And here we can
I'm
have
from
some,
North Greece.
Gotcha. And here we can have some Greek food as well. So thank you so much for your time. Carl, any follow-up questions you want to ask Mr. Protopappas here?
Well, Jason, I'd just be curious at what he sees
Except
this
my age?
as. Yeah, no, I won't ask that. I certainly won't ask that. No, he sounds like quite a character who has been just ingrained in the community. What has he heard from friends, from neighbors about what they're kind of living through and what a meal like that can mean when all the rest of their life is kind of falling apart, if it's flooding, if it's dealing with insurance agents, all the rest, what that can mean to customers or what he hopes it means?
Yeah, what do you hope this means for people that are really suffering right now? They're dealing with their houses being flooded, they're dealing with insurance, having to file all those claims. They're really suffering, but what do you hope this gift means to those people that you're helping?
It means a lot. They don't have to cook. They don't have to think about the kids. You know what they're going to eat? I mean, they can come and boop. The kids can eat right away. That's my concern. A family can sit and eat at least. And I wish everybody can help a little here and there. Left, right, everything, not just food.
What in the Greek tradition and the customs of the Greek family, what does the meal mean? Having that family meal together.
It's everything, A to Z. When the people sit at the table, that's the meeting of the day, the big one. You discuss, you communicate, there's love, everything is beautiful. That's what we're missing right now. It's the dinner, all the family together.
Andreas Protopappas, thank you so much for your time. Carl, my IFB, my connection with you where I can hear you, it just cut out, so I'm not going to be able to hear any follow-up questions, but we're at Hero House in Waukesha, as well as Vino Cappuccino, which is owned by Mr. Protopappas here, and they're giving away free food to those who've been impacted by the floodwaters, who have had flooding, people that are first responders, people that are suffering right now. He's offering them a free meal today at his location, Hero House in Waukesha, as well as Vino Cappuccino, Brookfield. Carl, I'm going to send it back to you. Sorry, I can't take any follow-up questions because this phone call is cut out here. I'll try
No,
to
completely understand.
Thank you, Carl, for having us on. And again, Hero House in Waukesha, Vino Cappuccino in Brookfield.
Wonderful. Another great report from Jason Calvi there on the Wisconsin Live Desk. And of course, no apology necessary from Jason working through some of the technical issues there, but still bringing us that great live interview. And what an opportunity there. If you are out in, again, the Waukesha area or Brookfield, that is Euro House where Jason just was. Their other location business they own, Vino Cappuccino in Brookfield, giving away free food at both locations to anyone who's been going through stuff over the last 24 to 48 hours since that storm rolled through. Just amazing to see the community kind of rallying behind folks who are experiencing some terrible, terrible damage in the wake of those floods. We want to get you back out to that press conference now at Carmen School as they are taking some questions now. Mayor Cavalier Johnson just spoke about the Building Up Milwaukee project. Let's listen to some of the questioning.
Self-explanatory. We answered.
I know, right? Bam.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Great job.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. We just missed the mayor's address there, but wanted to make sure we got you some of the reporting from Jason today on the impact of those floods over the weekend. Meanwhile, at Carmen Schools of Science and Technology, they are benefiting from the Building Up Milwaukee program and recognition. So this whole week, the week of August 11th, the city of Milwaukee is going to be recognizing major projects and renovations in the field of education. Carmen itself is investing more than $33 million into the construction of this state-of-the-art facility that you kind of see going up behind those, I believe, students there, maybe members of one of the sports teams too, rocking their jerseys. It's an ambitious project that it should open for the 2026-27 school year, so not this coming school year, but the following one. And in addition to that, the mayor also gave some updates on two other educational building projects in the city. You saw that representative from Carmen there as well, discussing the vision for the school when it opens in a couple years. And interesting developments there. The future of Milwaukee, while of course we have covered so much of the impact of older, aging buildings throughout the Milwaukee school system, MPS dealing with the lead crisis, of course, over the last few months, but there you have some new construction going up and being promoted by the Building Up Milwaukee recognition there from the city to Carmen. All right, we have to take a short break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. It is a Monday afternoon here in Milwaukee. We give you a live look again from our downtown tower camera at what it looks like on this Monday and just how different it is from what we saw and what so many of us lived through over the weekend. The rain starting Saturday, continuing well into Sunday morning, and that's when we really got the full feel for what was absolutely record-setting rain here in the city of Milwaukee, and still the Milwaukee River here from our Esterbrook Park tower camera, much higher than it normally would look in this camera shot. More to come on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Thank you so much for checking it out, though, on this Monday afternoon.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Carl Deffenbaugh with you here, 12:51 on your Monday afternoon, 80 degrees. But the better news is that we are dry and even sunny on this Monday afternoon after all of that rain that came through over the weekend. We give you a live look at the Milwaukee City Hall there. We've seen the mayor out and about at a number of different places already today, just recently there at Carmen Schools, but of course before that addressing the historic flooding in his city and all across southeastern Wisconsin. He was at one of the 2 drop-off centers where City of Milwaukee residents can free of charge drop off any damaged items that they may have after flooding in their homes over the weekend. And let's pull up a couple of those locations for you. One of them is, or at least the 2 locations there on the north side and south side. The mayor was at the Lincoln Avenue location this morning, and then Industrial Road on the north side of Milwaukee, actually enter off of Mill Road, is where the north side location are. Those 2 drop-off centers, the dumps, so to speak, in Milwaukee are open regular hours, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. In fact, actually, I think today, they're open. They're usually closed, so they opened up with a lot of people working on what's normally an off day to get those places open, and they will stay open throughout the week, free of charge. You can take stuff that's been damaged in the flooding over the weekend and drop it there for free. So think if there's chairs, if there's carpeting that you're ripping up, if there's items in your basement, boxes and the like that you just need to get rid of and get out as you start that cleanup process, an option for you is at those 2 drop-off centers in Milwaukee. Now, the other thing the mayor mentioned in his update this morning, and the DPW commissioner added to as well, is that the city of Milwaukee will also be doing pickup for bulk items at your home. So they recognize that a lot of people won't be able to get to those 2 drop-off centers, be it they don't have the vehicle that can get all their stuff there that they need to get out, or maybe physically you can't actually get there. So you can schedule a pickup in the city of Milwaukee by either calling a phone number that they have, although they said that call center has been kind of inundated with calls. So maybe the better bet is to use the Milwaukee City app. It's a free app that you can find, or go to the city's website and track it down. You can submit a pickup request on there for bulk items, and then as long as those items get onto basically the curb, like between the sidewalk and the curb, the median, so to speak, then you can schedule your pickup, and DPW workers will come around the city picking up as much as they can, and certainly the ones that are scheduled over the next week or so. There's also going to be a change to some parking requirements, but that's not coming till later in the week. They've recognized that people are having trouble getting their cars moved. Perhaps their cars were stuck in floodwaters, and they need to figure that out. So a few more days to get cars out and about, and then they will put in basically some night parking requirements that will allow them to clean up the city streets even more fully than they're already doing. So all of this happening in the wake of that historic rainfall we got over the weekend. More than a foot of rain registered in Milwaukee, and if that's indeed confirmed to be potentially the record-setting, the most 24-hour rain totals that we have seen in state history anywhere in the state, not just for Milwaukee, but for the entire state of Wisconsin, eclipsing something that happened in the northern part of the state back in the 1940s, was the highest mark on record. So as that continues, Governor Tony Evers is also sending in the National Guard, saying, this was actually a post from yesterday, Sunday, so on that Sunday he posted, earlier today, I approved the National Guard vehicles and operators to help support Milwaukee County's response to severe flooding that affected the region last night. We are continuing to monitor flooding, especially as several counties continue to remain under flash flood warning. So Mayor Johnson had alluded earlier today to some of the emergency funding that could be coming from either the state or possibly even federal level. Representative Brian Stile, the Republican congressman from southeastern Wisconsin, says he's reached out to President Trump and FEMA trying to get federal resources as well for hard-hit Milwaukee County. So remains to be seen what exactly those will look like, but it seems that there are possibilities for federal assistance from both the federal government, I should say, and government assistance from both the federal level and from the state level, with Governor Tony Evers already saying that the National Guard would be able to assist in Milwaukee County with the cleanup. And then if you are in need of help, the American Red Cross is responding already. They have a shelter open at Holler Park, that's near 6th and Abbott. That shelter has food, has water, and a place to charge your phone if you are unable to stay in your home. Think about the amount of water some people have gotten, and then, of course, what follows up with that. If there's mold concerns in the days after the water recedes even, it can be very damaging, very difficult to deal with as well. So the Red Cross offering some options there at a shelter they have open on 6th and Abbott, the Holler Park shelter for the American Red Cross. All right, we are going to take another short break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, 12:56, approaching our 1 o'clock hour, and we'll see what we find for you on the other side after just horrendous scenes from around southeastern Wisconsin over the weekend.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Good afternoon, Carl Defenbaugh, as we approach the 1 o'clock hour, 12:59 with you here on this Monday afternoon. It is the Wisconsin Live Desk, back again for you. Wanted to give you a little bit of an update. One thing that just popped up, caught my attention here from our different stream of cameras around the area. Look at the backups we're seeing throughout the Milwaukee metro area, specifically this stretch. I believe this is 94. Let me take off the bug real quick so I can read that text. Yep, I-94 at 76th Street has been quite slow for much of the morning, in fact. This is, of course, right near the Wisconsin State Fair Park, which had to close early because of all the rain that we got in the Milwaukee area. But the backups actually start a little bit west of the stadium interchange. The backups really starting to kick in just west of Hawley Road, and then really building around 70th Street, and we're seeing the impacts of that all the way back to 76th Street here on 94. Again, this is heading east. We're used to seeing this during the morning commute, of course, on Fox 6 Wake Up as we bring you the traffic each and every day. But some issues for drivers have continued throughout the day here. We'll try to get a little bit of info. There's not a crash or anything to tell you about, but wondering if there's some issue a little farther ahead on the interstate that's leading to those major backups. Normally not a problem spot to this effect, although maybe some construction could be the cause of that as well in that area. But anyway, if you're out and about the rest of the day today, if you're driving on 94, just know that really from around 70th Street and back all the way past 76th Street near the Wisconsin State Fair Park grounds is quite slow, quite a bit slower than normal right now. So a couple things that we are tracking. Another notable feed just popped up on our cameras here. Let me bring you that right now. And hold on one second. There we go. This would be the Speaker of the House in Texas, Dustin Burrows, once again doing the roll call while Democratic lawmakers from Texas remain largely out of Texas.
96 members present, a quorum is not present. The House and gallery, please rise for the invocation offered by Ron Joy of DPS.
Shall we pray? Our gracious Heavenly Father, we offer up our worship and praise for your many blessings. We are so blessed to live in the greatest country in the world. We thank you for the freedom, protection, and provision you provide. We thank you that we are free to openly worship you, Lord, without persecution. We thank you for the leaders in our country that you have placed over us. Bless them and give them wisdom. We are further blessed to live in the great state of Texas. You have blessed our state so much. Even in the midst of storms, we can see your hands of provision, encouragement, and love in the actions of our leaders and our communities. We are blessed to have leaders at the federal, state, and local level that love you, Lord, and serve the people that they represent. We praise you for our form of government that makes this country and state so blessed. I thank you for our process that every voter gets a say in who will represent them. Grant these representatives wisdom as they give a voice for the millions of citizens that they represent on so many important issues. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
The chair recognizes the Honorable Angie Chen Button of Dallas County to lead us in the pledges of allegiance to the United States and Texas flags.
If you're wondering here on the Wisconsin Live Desk why we're taking you down to the city of Austin, Texas, the Texas House of Representatives there in session. Notable, as we caught just at the beginning there, a quorum not reached, as has been the case in Texas ever since Democratic members of the State House of Representatives left the state to do just that, to make it so that a quorum could not be reached and a vote cannot happen on a possible redistricting plan for the state of Texas. This has received quite a bit of national attention because of follow-ups from different governors of Democratic-led states after that. But basically what's happening in Texas, the Republican leaders in the state are looking to tweak the political maps, the electoral maps in Texas in an attempt to what would, in effect, add 5 congressional districts for Republicans in the midterm elections coming in 2026. The U.S. House of Representatives, razor-thin control for Republicans. They cannot bear to lose a handful of seats, and instead in Texas are trying to follow through on a plan to actually add Republican seats to the way that the maps are basically led up, leaning towards Republican-leaning places there. So,
that they'll never get back again?
As this continues in Texas, we are keeping an eye on that. Many of the lawmakers on the Democratic side have actually come to Illinois, just to our south here in Wisconsin, as they avoid the vote in Texas. Now, we keep you back and forth all around the area. Our whole panel of cameras here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. This is the American Red Cross. We mentioned some of the shelter options they're providing at Holler Park. Let's listen in to a representative at that shelter about what they're dealing with.
Right now, here at Holler Park, and then also at Washington Center, or Washington Senior Center Community Park, which is in off of Valete.
Do you guys have a number about like how many people have been like displaced, or you guys are helping out?
Sure. So we had 31 people that stayed at the shelter here last night. We had 8 people that stayed at the Washington Park shelter.
And I guess how do you expect those numbers maybe to rise up over the next few hours?
I can't really answer that. We accept everybody, all people. So, you know, if people need a place to come and sleep or even recharge their phones or get a meal, we welcome everybody.
Do you guys have any idea of the areas that were affected most by the
I don't think I can answer that. Sorry.
Talk about the volunteer efforts. Is it just Red Cross volunteers here, or is it people from all over the country?
So we are pulling Red Cross volunteers from our Wisconsin region here. All of the volunteers inside right now are from Wisconsin.
Is there a night limit to how many nights families can stay at the shelter?
No. The shelter will be open for as long as it takes, and people can stay for as long as it takes.
What are you seeing as the biggest need right now?
The biggest need, we have a lot of people that are just coming in and asking for cleanup kits, supplies to clean up their basements.
How are you guys helping people that might not be able to get to you, whether their cars got flooded, they can't call you because their phones are dead or something? How are you guys helping those guys out?
We are out in the communities. We're working with other community partners also who might be out in the communities as well.
Just talk about why it's so important for you guys to step up in this way for your communities.
Sure. So this flood is a tragic event. So many people have been impacted, and the Red Cross is here to step up and help. We're here in everybody's time of need in their darkest hour.
Is there any way for the community at large to come and help out with your efforts?
So we are telling everybody who would like to donate to go to our website. It's redcross.org. Go to our website, redcross.org/donate, and they can donate to our disaster relief fund. And money from the disaster relief fund goes to disasters all over the country and disasters like this.
Is there any fear that you might run out of any supplies that people need, and how important is it?
I can't speak to that right now. We are working with some great community partners to bring in the resources. We don't have those quite yet. We usually work with S.E. Johnson, Feeding America.
How are you getting the word out about how people are able to take advantage of your resources, in a time where they might not have power to use their cell phones?
Sure. It's on our social media. They can go to our Facebook page, our Instagram page, LinkedIn, or X, and we have posted the shelter locations, our phone number, and our website as well.
If we were to have another round of rain, how many people would you be able to accommodate in this location?
In this location, approximately 40. That I don't know about.
Sorry if you've already answered this question. Let's just talk about the services that you guys are providing in there.
Sure. So people that come to our shelter can have a safe place to stay. We're providing food, water, basic hygiene kits, which is shampoo, soap, toothbrush, toothpaste, and also helping fulfill medical prescriptions, getting people that may have left their glasses behind.
You said hygiene and cleanup kits and stuff like that, and I know you said if it were to happen, how long that takes to run out. Is there a timeline on how many supplies you have here now?
So I said hygiene kits. So that is just shampoo, soap, toothpaste, toothbrush. As far as the cleanup kits, we're still working on getting our resources together with those. Right now we're just focusing on mass sheltering.
Would you guys have to potentially open up more shelters if more people are coming in?
We'll see. Like I said, I'm not quite sure how many people the Washington Park shelter holds. So we'd have to take a look at that, and anything's on the table.
And then for those who can't get to one of those shelters, would you guys be providing transportation?
We don't provide transportation. Unfortunately, they would have to, take a bus or find their own transportation to one of our shelters.
Are there any plans to provide any sort of transportation, or is that just not an option?
That's just not something that the Red Cross does.
Did we talk about, are they sheltering overnight here, or what's
They are sheltering overnight, yep. Anybody, who needs a safe place to stay is welcome to come and sleep here. We're also, like I said, providing food, water, hygiene kits. Even if people want to just come and charge their cell phone, they're welcome to come.
Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions?
Anything we didn't ask you that you...
I believe I covered this before, but I might have flubbed it. If people would like to donate, they can go to our website, redcross.org/donate, and the money that they donate will go to our disaster relief fund. That provides help for disasters all over the country, including disasters like this one. We're very appreciative of, everybody in the community that wants to help, and we're very grateful.
In terms of volunteering, do they have to sign up ahead of time, or can they just show up and start lending a helping hand?
They have to sign up ahead of time. You can go to our website, again, redcross.org/volunteer. There's some paperwork you have to fill out and some things that you have to go through before we'll, put you in a shelter. Any other questions?
Well, there you have the latest updates from Red Cross officials there at their shelter at Holler Park. One of two shelters, in fact, that they have open right now. So let me pull up that information once again because we had it for you momentarily, but a few updates there from that representative to share. This is the shelter at Holler Park near 6th and Abbott, but she mentioned there's actually a second shelter open as well at the Washington Park Senior Center. As of last night, the Red Cross was helping 31 people at the Holler Park shelter and another 8 at the Washington Park shelter. And as she also said, they will continue to offer that support, those resources, as long as it is needed and necessary. Things like food, water, basic hygiene kits that you heard her describe, as well as the chance to get basic prescriptions filled if you're out of your home and still need your medicine, of course. Maybe your glasses were left behind as you left your house in a hurry. They can help you with all things like that, even something as basic as just charging your cell phone. If you're running low on that battery and haven't been able to get somewhere to charge it, they can help you out at 2 different locations. The one you see on your screen here at Holler Park, where they had 31 people last night, and then the Washington Park Senior Center as well, which had 8 people staying last night. And we'll see if those numbers change or grow over the course of the next couple days. Now, another thing that just popped up on our camera or on our feeds here, let me get this for you from our breaking news. Waukesha County has declared a state of emergency now. We've seen this from a number of the counties most heavily affected by the rain that we got Saturday night into Sunday. But Waukesha County adding to that list, a state of emergency declared, let me check the time for you here, yesterday at 11:30 in the morning. After the emergency conditions occurred, namely flooding caused by significant rainfall across the county. So that state of emergency declaration will now last until 7 o'clock tomorrow, August 12th, in Waukesha County by the order of the county executive, Paul Farrow. So add Waukesha County, of course, which was a particularly hard-hit area, to the list of places enacting a state of emergency to try to deal with the cleanup and give resources available in addition to what state and federal resources could be necessary, in addition to what the county already is offering. So there you go, Waukesha County adding a state of emergency, declaring a state of emergency. One of the other things that just popped up on our camera feeds as well, I want to get you out to, this is our sister station out in Madison, has this image, and unfortunately, excuse me, I might be taking the wrong camera for you here, so let's get you back up here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. You know what? Let's take a short break, and we will be right back as we gear up, and we're going to hear from our weather expert, Stephanie Barrichello. Of course, she is the person that you want to hear from. Although before that, someone else just stepped to the podium there out at the Red Cross facility. I want to see if we can listen in to this and what exactly is happening.
I actually was having problems with the owner of the property, and that's actually the reason why I'm in the situation that I'm in, because the owner didn't fail to fix the roof, fixed anything on the house. The house, my whole house, caved in on me. On my couch. I been in the emergency room. I have multiple leaks in my house. My carpet, my furniture. That's why I'm here, because I'm unable to live in my own house due to the storm and due to my landlord not doing the repairs that needed to be done. So that's why I'm here.
Just some of the signs of what people are dealing with after that rain came through the area. That person out of a home taking advantage of the Red Cross shelter. Of course, that's not where anyone would like to be. Of course, you want to be in the comfort of your own home, but at least there are some resources for that person discussing things today. All right, we are going to take that short break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. It's just past the quarter-hour mark. Much more to come here as we continue streaming live for you each and every day on Fox Local, Monday through Friday until 2:30.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey, Carl Deffenbaugh back with you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. It is 1:19. Ben Handelman will be handling the second hour of the Wisconsin Live Desk for you in just about 10 or 11 minutes. But in the meantime, we'll give you a live look at downtown Milwaukee. Again, the story of the day today, the aftermath of historic flooding throughout Milwaukee, throughout southeastern Wisconsin. Milwaukee County, perhaps the hardest hit area in the state. Parts of Milwaukee, again, listen to this because the numbers are absolutely astounding. Parts of Milwaukee registered more than 14 inches of rain, more than a foot of rain in less than 24 hours. 14 and a half inches was the highest noted amount of rain. And if that is confirmed by the National Weather Service as they continue their work today, that would be the highest 24-hour rain total ever recorded anywhere in the state of Wisconsin. So going back to records that date back to the 1800s, And instead of a record set in northern Wisconsin back in the 1940s, Milwaukee would have the new record. Not that anyone ever wanted that until this past weekend. More than 14 inches of rain recorded. All right, we're getting a couple different things for you into the Wisconsin Live Desk right now. Just want to see where we're going to go. We have our weather expert, Stephanie Barkello, standing by for more of the context and information about those rain totals. We're also waiting to hear from Durante Matthews because we want to take you kind of onto the ground, some of the cleanup efforts that are happening right now. And it appears that Durante is getting ready as we speak. He's got about another couple minutes or so of work. So why don't we bring in Stephanie Barkello right now, who's back there in the weather office. Steph, great to have you here with us. That map behind you right there is kind of the most telling thing that you've been able to share over the morning with us on Wake Up and, of course, now on the Live Desk. So why don't you explain the different kinds of colors that we're not used to seeing there here in southeastern Wisconsin?
Yeah, hi there, Carl. It's no secret. We saw a lot of rain over the weekend, especially in and around Milwaukee. There were 4 specific counties that saw some of the highest totals. So we've got Milwaukee, we've got Waukesha, Washington, as well as Ozaukee County. So really, this is radar estimated rainfall. So these are technically estimates, but that's also why I don't have exact numbers on it. It's just to show you more so the broad area that saw such high rainfall totals. Most spots within this area saw at least 7 inches, but there were also plenty more that picked up over 10 inches, even over 11 inches in a handful of communities. It was just a heavy rain from the start. You know, if we can bring you back to Saturday night, it was really Saturday afternoon that we started to see that line moving through. And something we didn't even talk about before we saw our severe weather, there was severe weather up in Green Bay before the preseason game. Door County saw a ton of wind damage, but of course we're going to focus in on our local view for you. The afternoon, late afternoon, early evening, that line started to impact inland areas, then it eventually filled into the Milwaukee area, and then overnight, the rain was steady and it was constant, especially within Waukesha and Milwaukee County. And then as we got into our pre-dawn hours, it started to lift northward into parts of Washington and Ozaukee County, and it was clear that those were going to become the problem areas with some of the heavy rain, since we already knew what we experienced in Waukesha and Milwaukee County. But again, that was Saturday night into Sunday morning. Just incredible to see, even at this hour, as you've been previewing from all of our awesome reporters in the field, all of the flooding and all of the cleanup that is still happening and still needs to be done because of Saturday's storm.
Let me ask you quickly here, Steph, and then we're going to get to one of our reporters, Durante, who's ready for us out in the field, and we certainly want to get to that. What was the right or wrong, in this case, mashup that led to just this water that started and wouldn't stop in those overnight hours Saturday into Sunday? What was it about that kind of unfortunately perfect mix that led to this potential record?
Yeah, there were a couple of things. Okay. First and foremost, we had a boundary right over Waukesha and Milwaukee. Kind of like a cold front, not quite to that extent, but we had something that allowed the storms to stay in that vicinity. And then, actually here, since you have my graphics up, let me put the radar loop back up for you from Saturday night into Sunday, just so you guys can see. I mean, there's a period of time where that rain is over Waukesha and Milwaukee for hours. But again, we had a boundary over us. We also had the low-level jet kick in. And I know you hear that every once in a while from meteorologist Tom Walks. That's what keeps storms going throughout our overnight hours. Remember, most of the time, storms fizzle and really weaken during the overnight because we don't really have the energy, especially when we don't have a front actually making its way on through. So we had that low-level jet to keep the storms on the stronger side. And then we saw what was called training and back building. And I think that really had to do with the boundary that was set up over us. So you just saw how the storms just continued to build on the backside. So it was just more and more rain and thunder and lightning impacting the same areas over and over again. As this is looping right now, you can kind of see it there. Milwaukee, Waukesha, just over and over and over and over again. So a couple of different factors. I think the low-level jet was pretty important, but just the fact that we had all of that rebuilding on top of each other, that's why it was hours of relentless heavy rain.
Man, we certainly saw the light show Saturday night, well into Sunday morning, and the rain was really the big issue for folks. Stephanie Barkello, thank you so much from the Weather Office. We're going to get over to Durante now, but thank you so much. I know you'll have more with Ben in that second hour of the Lab Desk coming up. All right, let's get you two as I get you back here, playing with the buttons and seeing what we can do here. Over to our Durante Matthews, who we had out and about today. Durante, I know we've got reporters around the area because, as you heard from Steph, Waukesha County hit hard, Milwaukee County as well. You're kind of focused on the Milwaukee County aspect of it. Where are you, and what have you found so far?
On 81st and Rogers. Now, this West Dallas in general was one of the areas really hit hard, but this street was definitely in that category as well. So I just want to show you a little bit of the aftermath. Right here, there are multiple items laid out on the street and on people's lawns, things that were in their houses that got just destroyed during the flooding when all of that water rushed into people's homes and basements. And I'm going to have my photojournalist Mike turn this way just so I can point you down this street. You see going down here, you see several garbage bags just laying out on the curb waiting for those to get picked up. It's on both sides of the street. You can actually see that. So a lot of people here had a lot of damage in their homes that they now unfortunately have to discard. So right now I found out that the city has put in a recovery plan for those who have so many items that just got destroyed during that flooding, and that is right here across the street. Whenever I can make my way through here, I want to show you that. So a part of the recovery plan that the city is putting in place right now are these dumpsters. So once this car passes, I can take you across the street with me right here.
Yeah, it looks like there might be people taking advantage of that dumpster, right? Trying to drop things off.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I actually on the back of that, yeah. Folks are trying to back up to actually utilize that. So, yeah, the city has placed these dumpsters in some of the areas that they say are hit the hardest, and people can come here and, like I said, just unload all of the items in their homes that were just completely soaked and destroyed during that flooding. And they said that they actually implemented these dumpsters at around 12:30 today. So it hasn't even been, 2 hours yet, and you can see that this one is already packed to the brim, and this is just one of them so far. So you can see there everything in here from furniture to, we see a couple of coolers in there, a lot of wood, just anything in people's homes that were destroyed. Folks are just trying to unload off that right now.
Durante, let me ask you this, if you don't mind, as well. This is kind of one aspect of all that people are dealing with in the wake of this storm, getting rid of items that were damaged, that they're stuck in their home, waterlogged and the like. I know the cars have been an issue for so many people. Many vehicles absolutely flooded, whether they were on the streets or perhaps in parking garages. And I know you've tracked down a rather frightening video from an underground parking garage. I know it's going to be part of your reporting later tonight. We don't have it for our viewers right here, but maybe you can describe that and what else people are dealing with in the wake of all that water.
Absolutely. One of the items that people have been losing left and right are their cars, and just seeing and talking to people about them has really been heartbreaking today. So there is, in another apartment complex here in West Allis, there was an apartment complex, the garage, the underground garage area just completely flooded, and we do have video of water just rushing in there and rising so far to the top that folks couldn't even get in there and get to their vehicles. Their vehicles were completely submerged in the water, and now in that particular complex, and I'm going to focus on later on today, the water has since been drained out, but the damage is already done. Those cars are total losses, and so many people are filing insurance claims today. There are tow trucks coming in to lug away those cars, and now folks are really thinking, what's next? Like I said, they're going to file their insurance claims, but now a lot of people are without cars. They're just on feet now, and not only is it just a huge financial hit to them, but also an emotional one and a mental one as well, because it happened so fast that nobody really had time to save anything. So that's another aspect of this, getting rid of treasured items, and to some folks, their livelihoods. People depend on their cars to get to work.
It's just amazing to see that dumpster there behind you, Durante, and like you said, it's only been up and running maybe an hour and already completely overflowing with people trying to get rid of all the stuff damaged in the storm. You mentioned kind of that mental hit that it takes. From the folks that you've spoken to right now, what does the mood seem to be? Less than 48 hours removed from this storm. Are people resilient at this point? Are they still kind of feeling the emotional distress and fear about what do we do next? How are we going to come back from this? What seems to be some of the mood from the folks that you've spoken with?
It's kind of all over the place, really, Carl. You know, a lot of people are still going through the stages of grief. Many people have already gotten to that acceptance stage where they're just like, okay, this has happened already, you know, it is what it is, I can't help but move forward. But there are a lot of people who are just, you know, in tears because it has hit them, but did not fully, like, the impact of it. It's like they're reliving the flooding all over again. And you know, like I said, they watched a lot of their memories and their treasured items just wash away or just get completely sunken in the water. So it takes a toll on a lot of people, you know, mentally. One woman who I spoke to, she said, you know, who lost her car, that yeah, she has to file an insurance claim. She's happy she has insurance, but she was pretty much, you know, it is what it is at this point. But there are others who are just like, I really don't know what to do. So it hits people differently.
Yeah, no, you can certainly imagine why, too. All that water in such a short amount of time, but knowing that it's going to take quite a bit longer to get all cleaned up, get recovered from this flood striking in 2025. All right, Durante Matthews on this story for us. Much more to come from him on Fox Local tonight on Fox 6 News at 4, 5, and 6. We'll let you maybe get to some interviews with those folks there dropping stuff off in that dumpster, but thank you very much for taking us to it. It's a good sign. It's nothing like seeing the pictures of what's left behind after something like this, so thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Carl.
All right, and again, you can look for his reporting, including that video. We got a preview of it here at the station. Quite powerful to see an underground parking garage just completely flooded, cars floating in that water, and Durante will have more on that. We have to take another short break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Ben Handelman will be with you after this, including an interesting interview in the wake of a disaster like this from the Better Business Bureau. What do you do? How do you make sure that you're getting the help you need and not a scammer trying to take advantage of you? All that still to come in the second hour of the Wisconsin Live Desk. Thanks a lot for watching.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
All right, right, news nerds. Ben Handelman here from the Wisconsin Live Desk. 134. We've just done the switchover. This is now a fresh hour as we continue this coverage of our historic flooding in southeast Wisconsin. We're talking levels we maybe have never seen before, even going back to records from the 1800s, as we're still waiting for these rivers to recede in a lot of spots. A lot of the national attention has been here on us in Milwaukee, as it's with so much destruction as far as people's vehicles and homes. There is still water in basements. There's a mold concern now as the days continue. Of course, we're in the heat of summer as well, so not a good time for your basement to be just covered in water here. Really interesting interview I want to bring in here as Tiffany Bernhard Schultz from the BBB, the Better Business Bureau, is joining us here live on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
It's so important to bring you in right now because a lot of my neighbors are dealing with this. So much flooding. So many people are calling now and offering you services. And I know in your department, we're worried about scams out there. So how do you know when someone's legit and when someone is not after a disaster like a flash flood?
Natural disasters really bring out the best in people, but it also brings out those unscrupulous contractors who are known as storm chasers and follow the storms. And we're going to be seeing this, if we haven't already, in our communities that were hard hit. And it may start with a simple knock on the door. They're here to help you, right? They're working with your neighbor down the road, and they have a deal that they can offer you right now, but you need to pay upfront in cash, and it's only valid while they're standing at your door. If you have somebody like that, it's probably a better idea to take their information and do your homework on contractors who you want to work with to do their homework. Anybody who's offering you a deal only today probably isn't the contractor that you want to work for.
I know it's so tough when you're a homeowner and you've got water in your basement. One of my neighbors had a foot of water in his basement. And the first thing you want to do is clean the mess up. But you really need to take a breath and take a moment before you start signing off contracts for work or handing money over to people, as you just said.
Really, the first thing that you should do after you get over the shock of all the water in your basement is call your insurance company. In situations like this, these insurance companies are going to have people ready to take your phone call. You're going to want to review your policy coverage, if there's any type of restrictions, deductibles, maybe even your agent has some contractors that they recommend for you. It's always important to do your homework, though, on those contractors that are recommended to you, whether they're coming from an insurance company, a family member, or a friend.
The images that we're seeing are just incredible. We've got so many images of the damage and the construction and the roads that have been destroyed here just in the last 48 hours here in the Milwaukee area. I just think that this damage is going to last for a long time, and we're going to see the results of this for a very long time. I know a lot of people right now, including some of my coworkers, who are having their cars that are getting towed. Sometimes I know in your field, some of those cars end up trying to be resold again. Is that something we should start thinking about now, especially if we're looking for a new car? How do we not end up with our neighbor's car that just got flooded out?
That's a real question to ask, and yes, that's true. Those cars aren't going to end up on the market today or tomorrow, but in 6 months, we may be seeing those cars coming up for sale at super low prices. Why is the price so affordable? If a competing car with the same mileage, the same body style, the same year, make and model is going for thousands more, but another one is going for thousands less, that should be a red flag. What just happened? There's a lot of things that you can look for when you look for flood damage, and it's going to be very obvious. You want to look under the hood. You want to see if there's any dried mud and dirt that you can find under the hood. Lift those floor mats. Look for that musty, moldy smell in the car. Is the air fresh in the car? Are they covering up anything? You really want to look in those nooks and crannies. Pull a title report. Where is it coming from? Is the owner located in one of those flood damaged areas? It could be a flooded vehicle that you want to stay away from. And those flooded vehicles just are not going to show up in the car market in Milwaukee. it could show up anywhere. Those cars could be taken to another city to be sold. So really be careful when you're out there purchasing a new vehicle.
A good reminder, yeah, anytime, even without our floods. But yeah, you don't know if the car you're going to buy was flooded out in Oklahoma or somewhere else in the country. What else are you looking out for now? What do you think people really need to know as we're coming fresh off? We're still really in the middle of it in many ways of this disaster.
These contractors are just getting phone calls today, and the good ones that you want to work with, they're going to be booked up for months and months and months. If somebody comes to your door or you call a contractor and they have immediate availability, that should be a red flag that something is wrong. You also want to be careful. Don't turn over your insurance checks to the contractor, and don't let your contractor talk you into filing a claim. You really want to pick up the phone, talk with your insurance agent, and see if you should be filing a claim with them. Because if you file 2 claims and one or either one of those are denied, you could be dropped by your insurance company. So your insurance agent is your advocate and your best friend in times like these.
I'll be honest, I'm a relatively new homeowner within the last 5 years, and I've never had to file for a major disaster. Is it your insurance company who's going to tell you who you should be working with instead of the other way around?
Your insurance company could have recommendations for you, but even with those recommendations, you want to do your homework. Come on over to bbb.org. See what we have to say. Check ratings, reviews, and complaints. Are they an accredited business? An accredited business has been vetted by us, and all of their licensing is up to date. Do an internet search on the company. What can you find? What are people saying about them? You really want to be comfortable hiring a contractor that you're going to be spending thousands of dollars with in order to get your home back in the state that it was before the flood hit.
Yeah, I was just talking to my neighbor is doing some work, and they've got the contractors all booked for just like a normal expansion project. Are we going to start seeing higher prices around here, you think, just to try and get, I don't know, your bathroom redone now? Because just all of the damage, I mean, we're talking neighborhood after neighborhood after neighborhood. All these people need their basements redone. That we don't have the kind of workers to kind of do all of that work.
You could see inflated prices. You can also see dynamic pricing. If you want it done sooner, it could be a higher price. It's really all going to depend on the situation and the contractor that you're working with. Always shop, get 3 estimates and compare those estimates and make sure that they are apples to apples. The lowest price is not necessarily the best price. So keep that in mind too. If you're accepting a lower offer and it's lower by thousands, you're going to want to know why it's so much less. Same with the other end of it. If you're doing your shopping and you see an offer to fix whatever needs to be fixed in your home and it's significantly more, ask those questions. Why is it significantly more? And you also want to work with local contractors too, because those storm chasers aren't going to be around to warranty their work or repair anything that goes wrong in the days following the repair.
Yeah, a couple of months from now, if something they did that didn't work, you want to have that fixed or looked at. Good luck if they have skipped town, because they are moving on to the next disaster somewhere else in the country. And also that local money stays local as well. Tiffany Bernhardt-Schultz, it's a disaster for a lot of people what they're dealing with, but we don't want it to be a compounded disaster that by them losing their money. So thank you so much for all the advice.
Thanks for having me today.
Appreciate it. Yeah, really good advice there. As we just got to be careful, because we see this after every single storm. These out-of-town fly-by-night companies come in and they are promising you things that sometimes they can deliver, but a lot of times, and Contact 6, they have stories galore on the promises not kept and the money that's gone and how difficult it is to try and get your money back once it's out the door. And maybe that person never even shows up after taking the check. So make sure you're doing your homework, checking with the BBB, checking with those contractors. I appreciate it. All right, we've got lots of new feeds coming in. We're going to check in with our weather experts coming up in a bit. Got a fun interview, not weather related, coming from Betty Bryn Children's Museum. They've got a really cool performance coming up, something you might want to take your kids to. And we've got a really fun individual who's going to join us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. I thought we needed like a little bit of a break from the floods, because that's all we've been talking about for the last couple of days now. But we will keep talking about these floods and the impact it's having and the cleanup that's underway. So continue to watch us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk on your Monday. We'll be right back.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Ben Handelman here from the Wisconsin Live Desk. We continue to follow our historic flooding in southeast Wisconsin, hit by 7, 8, 9, 10, even 11 inches of rain. There are some spots that may even be higher than that. This is looking down from our Esterbrook Tower camera in the Shorewood, Milwaukee area of the Milwaukee River that crested the highest it has ever been, as it's starting to come down, but the bank's still swollen there and will be for days. Some of the catastrophic flooding levels, it is lowered from there. But yeah, just really, really nasty out there. A flood warning does remain, well, was in effect through today until 10 a.m., but several rivers are still way, way higher than they should be because of all the rain that we got coming Saturday night into Sunday. So many homes and vehicles destroyed there. Several roadways remain closed right now at this hour as Milwaukee County officials, they're stressing to avoid any flooded roads or streets, the things that may still be up and high. Wauwatosa, one of the hardest hit areas. We've got crews out in Wauwatosa as the city there says they received more than 500 calls. A majority of those calls were about flooded basements that were flooded from all the rain, flooded storm drains, and then some of the traffic issues that we've seen from the floods as well. So Wauwatosa definitely one of the hardest hit areas right now. Watching more, we've got a new update coming from We Energies as Milwaukee, really the whole, that's City Hall right there, they're busy, and crews at We Energies say they continue to work around the clock. Some areas saw 14 inches of rain, according to the Milwaukee Department of Public Works. 14 inches of rain. There is, as they said, no sewer system in the country that would be able to handle that much water. We're talking millions and millions of gallons of water that was just running through the streets and inundating that system. So the deep tunnel, you know, we built that many years ago here in Milwaukee, and with that reaching full capacity, they started a combined sewage overflow just before 10 p.m. on Saturday, and that means that some areas there was water mixing with the untreated sewage, and that was heading out into Lake Michigan. So you may not want to swim anywhere near along Lake Michigan in the Milwaukee area for some time, as all of this untreated wastewater is currently out there in the lake hugging the shore, especially between the areas of McKinley Beach and South Shore Beach. But really, all the communities up and down the lake are going to be dealing with exactly what we've been dealing with here, and that's that sewage overflow that I'm sure, and I don't have this confirmed right now, that Racine, Kenosha, those areas had to do exactly what Milwaukee was doing just to try and keep up. But I mean, the hardest hit areas was Milwaukee, so those areas actually down in Racine, Kenosha may have fared better because they didn't get nearly as much rain as, again, according to the Milwaukee DPW, some areas, 14 inches of water, more than a foot of water, just from the storms that were relentless and just unending, it seemed, at times in the Milwaukee area. So live look there. Here's another live look I've got of downtown. Is again, you're seeing Lake Michigan there, and hard to see a little bit from this angle, but the water not looking like a great color, and that is from all the sediment and debris and dirt and mud that is mixed in with the water and come down through the rivers that are still gushing now in the Lake Michigan. So yes, again, if you're going to the beach, because it is 82 degrees and we're in our final weeks here of summer, good day to look at the water and not get into it because it can be pretty dangerous. Saw some people swimming in Cahill Park in Whitefish Bay. They have a retention pond, and that was filled up. That probably went up 12 feet as that was stormwater runoff, and I saw people swimming in it. And not as dangerous as the combined sewer overflow, as all of that's just runoff, but that's runoff from roads and driveways and yards all ending up in the retention pond. So also might be full of bacteria, may not be the safest area to swim. But all right, so we continue to follow this. We're waiting for live feeds here. We're going to talk to Stephanie Barrichello coming up later in the show, but we continue to follow this historic coverage here live on your Wisconsin Live Desk. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Ben Handelman here from the Wisconsin Live Desk as our coverage of this historic flooding continues. I've got the satellite and radar, the recap pulled up here, and I just want to show you just how nasty these storms were starting Saturday night. Look at Milwaukee as these storms developed and kept redeveloping right over the city, and then right through Sunday they got hit with some lighter rain showers. But when this all started right there Saturday night, right around 6, it just didn't stop till, I mean, we're talking 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Now it's 5 in the morning. Got a little break on Sunday morning and then some light rain as, again, we just saw historic amounts of rain. We're talking, again, over 14 inches of rain on the northwest side of Milwaukee. Everyone in Milwaukee County saw about 7 inches or more, but many communities saw 8, 9, 10, 11 inches of rain, and we're still dealing with the effects of that. That is a live picture of the river right now. I believe we're looking at the Milwaukee River, and you can see still swollen. Some of those trees are on the banks still underwater, although things are getting a little bit more back to normal here. I mean, we saw in the Menominee River went up 14 feet, and we went from or 13 feet or so, went from 1.5 feet over 14 feet. Just incredible rises in the water, and luckily the damage for human life could have been so much worse because it came so quick. So we continue to count our blessings a little bit through what has happened here in the last 48 hours, but we also are still feeling the effects of everything that's happening out there. Again, as there's another picture from high above. This is from our Estabrook Park tower camera. Estabrook, I mean, it was a raging rapids. If you've ever been to the Estabrook Beer Garden, which is very close to where this camera is, there's a dam there. You couldn't see the dam. The river had risen up actually to the highest possibly in recorded history. Incredible numbers that we're now reflecting on here on this Monday. But the cleanup has started all throughout southeast Wisconsin. Dumpsters have been placed in some hardest hit neighborhoods in West Dallas. Even in my neck of the woods on the North Shore, I just going down the street and neighbor after neighbor had just piles and piles of their stuff from all their basement that had been soaked, and now all has to be thrown out as the crews are busy. We had the great interview from the BBB just minutes ago talking about just be careful. If you are one of those homeowners who had damage, be careful because the scammers, they're starting to arrive in the city. But I just want to show everybody again because I think this radar loop is just so incredible that the FOX 6 weather experts are showing us. That's through Sunday, but watch as this all starts about Saturday, 6 p.m. Right there, starts raining in Milwaukee, and it just does not stop. And we're talking thunderstorm after thunderstorm, downpour after downpour, and then some light rain on Sunday before. And now we're getting a little bit of time to dry out, and the rivers are going back to normal. So we'll continue to watch our flooding, as obviously that is a big story here in Milwaukee, and we'll continue to follow this, but I'm also excited for our next guest because we got to take a little bit of a break of the flooding, get our minds off of that, and I've got the perfect guest to get our minds off of the flooding for a little bit. That's coming up next here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
All right, news nerds, we've made it to 2 p.m. It's 2:01 here on the Wisconsin Live Desk here on your Monday, August 11th, as we continue to follow, obviously, all of the breaking news from our historic flooding from over the weekend. Just looking at some of the feeds we've got in, I'm still watching the Milwaukee River, which is starting to behave itself for the first time in the last couple of days as the water levels are going down. We've had a day to dry out all across the region. We've heard from the Red Cross here on the Wisconsin Live Desk in the last hour or so. We've heard from the BBB just about the resources that are available, and you need to be careful about the scammers that have started to show up to town. But there's a nice shot of the Milwaukee River downtown. Again, the river levels recorded at Esterbrook Park, some of the highest levels, actually the highest level they've ever recorded on that river, as those levels are still very high, and that water has been as close to those bridges as it's been in a long time. So we'll continue to watch that. But hey, I'm really excited for my next guest because we're going to take a break from the flooding right now, and I want to talk about things to do in the summer. We're all trying, what do we do with our kids? How do we keep their minds engaged, and how do we keep them motivated and maybe experience something they've never experienced before? Well, my next guest has been doing great things down at Betty Bryn Children's Museum, and I want to bring him in. This is Malik Johnson joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Malik, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Ben. It's a pleasure.
So you are the artist in residence down there, the first one you told me that they've ever had there, and I'm just seeing we're getting you ready for a big end of summer unveiling of an original song that you will be performing based off of your year helping out the kids down there at one of my favorite spots in Milwaukee. Tell me what is about to happen.
Yeah, so it's been so great to be an artist of residence with Betty Bryn. So August 27th, we're having the song release event where I am showcasing what I created these past 6 months, being with the kids and experiencing all the magical activities and experiences we got to do at the museum. So yes, it's a fully original composition made to be the official theme song of Betty Bryn.
I cannot wait to hear this. I love the work that you've been doing. So tell me a little bit about your career, because it's just incredible in your young career. The cello is your your musical instrument of choice here, that you've expertise, that's what you're trained in. But you've gotten to perform with some incredible artists throughout your career.
Yes, I've been so blessed. I've gotten to play with, most recently, Stevie Wonder.
Wow.
I was on NPR's Tiny Desk in 2018 with PJ Morton. He's in Maroon 5 and just an amazing artist. Recorded on John Legend's Christmas albums. Yeah, it's been great. Yeah, I've been truly blessed. The cello has really shown me that my dreams can take me anywhere.
Well, and a lot of times, I mean, you guys in the music world remind me of TV careers a little bit with us TV news folks. Oftentimes it takes you very far away from home, but we're so blessed that this has brought you back here at home.
Right.
Talk to me about your opportunity here with Betty Bryn and what it's meant to you, as we've got some just images here of the incredible work that you've been doing.
Yeah, honestly, so I have really vivid memories of me going to Betty Bryn when I was a kid. So Betty Bryn is an iconic place in Milwaukee, and to be an artist in residence who's able to pour back into the kids and back into this organization is such a gift. We were able to work with so many talented Milwaukee representatives of the arts. We had a children author, we had literacy experts, we had an actor kind of leading these toddler talkbacks, as you see on the screen. So yeah, we've been exploring lots of musical ideas and activities, and the biggest thing that we try to do is try to connect the kids with social emotional learning, and that's just basically just understanding how they feel, how they want to work with other kids, and how they express themselves. So that's what we try to do, try to get them to dream as big as they can and reach for the sky.
Music does something special to kids. I mean, it really quite literally hits a different part of their brain than when you're speaking to them.
Yes, yeah. It's like I said, it's just a magical experience. When I was talking to you earlier, it truly like I got to see how much music impacts these children. And one of my favorite things is that a lot of caretakers they'll come with their like infants, like 2, 3, 4 month-year-olds, and bring them to some of my performances, and they'll just like hold the baby in front of front of me and like soak this music in, and you can tell the babies are like locked in. They really love it. I actually had a performance this morning, and a few babies were crawling towards me as I was playing. So that just goes to show you the power of music and how special it can really be.
Yeah, and you're just seeing their brains light up a little bit. What's your focus been as you've been kind of curating some of this music, inventing some of this stuff, composing stuff for them? What's been your goal personally?
Yeah, my goal is honestly just to provide these families with a really unique experience. A lot of people probably don't even know what a cello is, or haven't seen cello being used with pedals and effects and stuff like that. So that's one of the biggest things, is just getting the people to see like there's so many things that in this world that you can do, and it can really take you far. The cello has allowed me to, as you said, play with legends in the music industry, travel around the world, and meet some of like the best people ever. So I got to meet a lot of good people at Betty Wren.
How did the cello find you? I mean, how did your music career go into this with a classical instrument? I know you're doing some really innovative stuff with it.
Right, yeah. So I got started right in Milwaukee through MISO, Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra, and they were the ones who allowed me to experience an instrument like the cello. I wanted to play the bass. I'll say this. So you are right. The cello did choose me because they ran out of basses. So they're like, okay, we're just gonna give you a cello. It's the next best thing. So yeah. So I was like, oh my goodness, this thing just fell into my lap. So how am I going to use this in my life? So I knew I loved all kind of music. I love hip hop and R&B and jazz and classical. So I knew that, this was something that I could use as a tool to kind of, enter those new sectors of music and genres. So yeah.
Was there someone in your life who saw your passion and the talent at a young age who pushed you to go join the orchestra?
Yeah, I would say my first cello teacher, Ravenna Helson. She is probably the reason why like I am so musical, and she's taught me so much about just life in general, and how we should be treating ourselves as we want to be one with our instrument and one with our body. So I would definitely say she definitely pushed me, and obviously my parents are like the biggest support system I could ever have, taking me to lessons and camps and all over America. And when I was in college, driving me to auditions and all that stuff. So it's a village. It really takes a village.
Well, it's so cool. I mean, it's what we all dream of, that we'll get to kind of do something that we're so passionate about. And
Right.
I love that you're turning this into a successful career. So what can we expect? I know you've developed, I know you're a music producer and a composer, and obviously you perform, but what can we expect from your 6 months and your original song that will be unveiled again August 27th?
Yes, August 27th. Yes, you can expect, like I said, I truly, when I was making the song, I wanted to make it sound magical. So I wanted it to be dreamy. I wanted it to be fun. I wanted it to be special. And I wanted it to be unique, just like the museum. So that's what we're gonna get. We're gonna get a great time. And honestly, it's a really great song. So if you guys can make it, I think it might be the song of the summer.
The song of the summer. Well, I just love the images that have been sent over to me from one of my favorite places in Milwaukee, Betty Wren Children's
Yeah.
Museum. And the work that you have done with these kids is so cool. And the opportunity to be with someone who's Grammy nominated as yourself and is still doing great things. And you're doing it right here in Milwaukee, which I think is the best part. So Malik Johnson,
right.
thanks for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Thank you, Ben.
Appreciate it. Oh, what a cool interview. What a cool opportunity that we have to see the song that he has composed, that he is going to call the song of the summer, We'll have to get our hands on it, and we'll have to send a camera down there. August 27th, 10 in the morning. All the details at Betty Bryn Children's Museum on their website. We'll make sure to link that at fox6now.com, or you just Google Betty Bryn. Not too difficult to find all their information. All right, so that was a terrific interview. Malik's doing big things, and I can't wait to bring him on again after. We'll see where his journey takes him next. Stay with us here on the live desk. I got some new feeds coming in. One from D.C. I might take you to next, and we're still following our historic flooding here at home. So a lot to talk about on the Wisconsin Live.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Ben Haleman from the Wisconsin Live Desk. I want to get you straight out to Washington, D.C. here, as we've got a new press conference as President Trump is sending in the National Guard over recent crime concerns in our nation's capital in the District of Columbia. This is Muriel Bowser, the mayor of D.C. They are not happy about this, so they're taking questions from the media right now. Let's listen in.
Nothing about our organizational chart has changed, and nothing in the executive order would indicate otherwise. So the chief of police reports through the deputy mayor to the mayor of the District of Columbia, and the two people I think that were identified in the presser report to Attorney General Bondi. The executive order makes clear that all requests for MPD services, the president delegates to Attorney General Bondi. I don't recall the names. Yes.
The Metropolitan Police Department? Where does he fit in that?
That's a question for the Attorney General, I think. Yep.
Mayor, to what extent are you planning to cooperate in this new framework, or is the city planning anything to prevent this from happening, including any legal action?
Well, I think all legal, I think you probably saw the Attorney General for the district, Brian Schwab's a statement about reviewing all legal matters, and I think those matters are under review. The plain language, however, of the Home Rule Charter indicates that there is a declared emergency. It allows the president, it authorizes the president to make those requests. And it says the mayor shall comply with those requests. So, yep.
Marielle with DC News Now. Are there any concerns that, with this rhetoric that we have MPD, the National Guard, possible other law enforcement agencies on the ground, that there will be confusion about who's in charge, who these officers answer to, and how people should respond if approached by any of these officers?
Well, we should note, and we have been advised, and we will continue to make this clear that this is needed in our city, that all law enforcement be identifiable by a uniform, a badge, a jacket, so that people know that they are law enforcement. And the chief, in her coordination with the kind of the command on the federal side, will make clear kind of how the protocols for response. And if there's any additional information we need to get out to the public, we will. But the main point is this: everybody should follow the law, the police and the community. And that's the case now. It was the case last week, and it was the case the week before that. So nothing has changed about that. Yep.
Be able to respond to the statement that came out from DC Police Union. They've come out saying that they stand with the president and that they have also said that crime is spiraling out of control. They're also calling for the president to go even further and repeal some of the legislation that DC Council passed.
I'm afraid I haven't seen that statement yet, so I don't want to comment on it. We have, worked very closely with the DC Police Union. Some issues they've advanced, I've totally agreed with. Others I haven't. One thing that we are squarely supportive of is making sure that our department can recruit more officers and get to a number that I think we need. We've worked cooperatively with them on recruitment and retention activities, on some other changes to the law that were very objectionable to the union and our members, and we will continue to do that. Yeah.
Ben Haleman here from the live desk. So that is the D.C. mayor responding to this announcement from President Trump that he is sending in the National Guard to take over Capitol Police, sending 800 members of the National Guard to our nation's capital as the president claims crime is rising there, and you're hearing some questions there from law enforcement. So this is a big story today that we continue to follow, but one of the big stories we continue to follow is what's happening here at home. That's a live picture of the Milwaukee River as it hit a level that we've never seen before, really, in our recorded history of all of what's happening out there with all the historic flooding out there. So I want to bring in a weather expert, because I don't know what I'm talking about here, but this person normally does. It's Stephanie Baracallo joining us here on the live desk. Hey, Steph. Oop, hold on. Let me hit the right button. Is that? Does that work? Wait, hold on. I got to figure this out. Maybe if I just hit everything up and see what you're on.
About a president's.
Okay, no, I don't know. Well, I'm not getting audio from you right now, Steph. Okay, here's what we're going to do, because I do want to talk to you, Steph. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk to Stephanie Park.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
All right, news nerds, we're in our final 10 minutes here at the Wisconsin Live Desk, and I believe I've fixed our audio issues. And I'm bringing in our weather expert, Stephanie Barrichello. I think that radar loop that you have, it just summarizes what we all lived through, because I honestly didn't know it could rain that much. I mean, it was from like 6 p.m. I woke up at like 3. I'm like, how is it still raining out there? Just incredible, the amount of water. And you said, I mean, parts of Milwaukee County think they got over 14 inches?
Yeah, there was one report of over 14 inches, 14 and a half to be exact, and that was one of the MMSD sites. And the National Weather Service, they need to make that official still. So you'll notice if you're looking at any lists from the National Weather Service, that one's not listed. That's actually a really big number. It's possible that if that is verified, and I will preface this by saying it's going to take a while to verify it, but if it is, that would be a new statewide record for rainfall for a one-day total, which is pretty incredible.
Can you just run us through, like, what happened?
Yeah, I'd love to. Let's go back. In fact, I kind of want to slow this down if I can. Ooh, I don't know if I can because this is resaved. But anyways, okay, this is a loop of the thunderstorms that started Saturday. It was really late afternoon that they started in inland areas. Milwaukee more so saw it closer to 5, 6 p.m. on Saturday. But the bigger, impactful event was overnight. After about 9 o'clock, we really started to see this training or back building effect where the storms just kept building on top of each other. And that's why you saw constant rain, thunder, frequent lightning for hours across, especially Waukesha and Milwaukee County. Now, during the pre-dawn hours on Sunday, a lot of that heavy rain then started to move northward into Washington and Ozaukee County, and those 4 counties were absolutely hit the hardest across our area. So I think a number of things set up here. Number one, we had that low-level jet, and so a lot of times during our nighttime hours, thunderstorms don't have the energy to keep going, but what the low-level jet does when it's able to kick in and move into our area, number one, it's a constant stream of moisture being put into these storms, which keeps them going. So I think we definitely had that. We had some type of boundary around our area, likely some type of trough, and then that all led to this back building effect where the storms would just build on the backside.
Yeah, just have your eyes like peeled on the W in Milwaukee, and once you look at that, it's like, oh, it does not stop raining until the wee morning hours.
And it was a heavy rain at that too. You know, our dew points, I just talked about the jet stream like pushing more moisture in. Our dew points were still so high, so we really saw a torrential rain constant for hours. It was just unfortunately, you know, a recipe for disaster.
And so many cars have been lost, so many basements. We were just talking about in our neighborhoods, how many of our neighbors, you just walk by their house and everything that was in their basements currently out on the curb right now. But I'm thinking, man, this could have been so much worse when we're talking loss of life and the real dangers, the things that we really warned people about. So many law enforcement and first responders got out there where they were helping people get away from their house if they lived near the Milwaukee River or the Menominee River, some of these rivers that were going in the neighborhoods.
Right, exactly. And I know that's, you know, the first thing we think about when it comes to flash flooding because of everything that just happened not too long ago in Texas, but we think of those river levels and what could, you know, potentially happen even anywhere across the U.S. But I do agree. And the timing of this, with it being overnight, even my drive into work Sunday morning, I witnessed firsthand how scary it is with it being dark to come up very quickly on decently flooded roadways. So I do think it could have been a lot worse. So thankful for all of the first responders who were out Saturday evening all the way throughout the day on Sunday doing all of the incredible work that they do.
DPW is telling us there is no sewer system in the country that can handle 14 inches of rain in the short amount of time that we had. I've only seen this a few times in my reporting career where culverts get washed away. Just the force of that water stab was just so incredible because it all came down in such a short amount of time.
Exactly. When I think of images like this, I think of post-hurricane pictures.
Right.
You know, because they get feet of water from hurricanes. It doesn't very often happen when we have a rainstorm move through our area, but I mean, there were so many spots that picked up over 9-10 inches worth of rainfall. There were a handful of communities over a foot. We had that 14-inch report, and it was a heavy rain, and it just pooled in these areas. It had nowhere to go. It just kept building on top of each other. So unfortunately, one of the impacts from some of the flooding that we've seen.
Yeah, that's Menominee Falls. This is Tosa Hart Park, which is one of the epicenters, because that park underwater and just everything seems to be gone there. Here's another picture from Wauwatosa of just all the flooding that they dealt with. All right, Steph. Well, we appreciate you coming on the live desk and kind of breaking down what happened. That is really fascinating. Just all the conditions were perfect for it just to keep raining. Like I said, I can never remember it raining that hard for as long as it did. And the numbers are proving it today that this was truly historic.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. This is by far the most rain I've covered in my career.
All right, and we know our coverage continues here on your Fox Local app, on Fox 6 News at 4, 5, 6, you know, all the shows that we do. Appreciate it. Thanks, Steph. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for joining us. Our weather, ooh, I don't even know what button I hit there. One of these days I'm going to learn how to hit all the correct buttons in here, but I have so many buttons and so many different things I can go to and all the different feeds that, you know, sometimes my fingers slip and I randomly hit the window screen there. So yes, historic flooding continues. We're still watching the rivers are starting to behave themselves. But, I mean, we just talked about with Stephanie how much water came from all of these rainstorms, and she did a really good job explaining just exactly how this occurred and what happened out there between Saturday. I was at the State Fair on Saturday, and I was looking at the radar thinking, oh, wow, these are all going north. This is pretty good because this will allow me to get out of there. And just when I got home, that's really when it started. And they closed the State Fair early. They had flash flooding down on the fairgrounds. And that was just the start of what was a very long night. Hey, just a reminder, we did have a combined sewage overflow for many hours in Milwaukee as they were dealing with all of that rain. So if you were by the lakes, I would not swim in them for some time here in the Milwaukee area because there is raw sewage in Lake Michigan right now, as again, they had to open up some of the sewer and rain pipes and combine them together to try and keep it out of people's basements, basically. They wanted the sewer system not to go into people's homes and could only do that to some such extent that they were able to do it. But stay out of the lake today. For all the coverage of everything that's happening here on your Fox Local app, stay with us because it's changing by the minute here. And you can go through all of the stories and everything by the minute as our reporters, they're still out there showing the cleanup, the water levels. They're all throughout southeast Wisconsin. So this is the app that you want to be at. For now, we're going to send you over to Live Now. They've got continued coverage. They're covering what's happening in D.C. and possibly even what's happening